On episode 266 of He Said, She Said movie reviews, we take a look at the movie Civil War. Welcome to He Said, She Said movie reviews. This is the podcast where a happily married couple with similar but different movie tastes take a quick, spoiler-free look at the movies, helping you make the right decision before your next movie. I'm your host, Tim.
And I'm April.
So we just got back from seeing the Civil War, and all I can say about this was, wow. What do you give this one, April?
Well, I mean, it's devastating is a good word to have watched this movie, think about it for days on end. But I will tell you, it was very well done.
How many stars?
I mean, it's hard. You're in a tricky situation here because I have to be honest. It was well made. It was well acted.
We'll get to that in a minute.
But it was devastating.
Yeah,
so,
but you got to put a star value on it because that's our thing.
I'm going to give it a 4.
A 4?
Yeah, because It was solid. It just was devastating.
I give this movie 4.5 stars. We'll tell you all about it right after these two trailers. So the first one is one April can't wait to see again. Bad Boys, Ride or Die. This summer, the world's famous bad boys are back with their iconic mix of edge-of-your-seat action and outrageous comedy, but this time with a twist. Miami's finest are now on the run. This has a release date of June 5th of 2024, and of course, it stars Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. And is this Will's first movie back since the famous slap?
I'm not sure, but everyone knows I love Martin Lawrence. That's for sure.
And the second trailer is for Twisters. Yes, this is an update of the 1988 film Twister. Notice that this one's plural, though. It's Twisters instead of Twister, which centers on a pair of storm chasers who risk their lives in an attempt to test an experimental weather alert system. This has a release date of July 17th of 2024 and stars Glenn Powell, Katie O'Brien, and Daisy Edgar Jones.
Alrighty, the storyline of Civil War is a journey across a very sad future America, following a team of military-embedded journalists as they race against time to reach D.C. before rebel factions descend upon the White House. The genre is action, thriller, fantasy, horror, written and directed by Alex Garland, known for Ex Machina, Dread, and 28 Days Later.
Yeah, this is the guy who gave us Ex Machina and Annihilation, Dread, and 28 Days Later.
All right.
You want to do the cast?
Yeah, sure. The cast was Nick Offerman, Kirsten Dunst, Wagner, Moura, Stephen McKinley, Henderson, Cailee, Spaeny, Jefferson White, Nelson Lee, Evan Lay, and Jesse Plemons.
This movie has a runtime of 109 minutes, and of course it's rated R for strong, violent content, bloody, disturbing images, and language throughout. Now, I jokingly put on here on our note sheet that this was a fantasy horror movie, and the reason why, the truth of the movie, that it's an action thriller, but the horror part is, wow.
Yeah.
This movie, when I saw the trailer for this a couple months ago, it just stopped my heart and made me think. And because we here in the U.S. as Americans, we see all these news things of stuff going on in the Middle East and other places, Ukraine, and we see this devastation, and we have never experienced that on this continent in this country since the Civil War. And nothing like modern warfare.
Basically, the movie plays on the fear of the fall of democracy in the United States. That's it.
That's the theme. But
it was devastating, and it was very well done. I will tell you, and it's hard for me to say this out loud, I did think the movie would be a lot more violent than it was. So that on a good, let me finish.
Okay.
In a good way, that's okay. It was really hard to see. So let's get going on it, because I'm anxious to get it reviewed.
Right. The one reason why I wanted to say fantasy too on this is the fact that in this movie the rebel forces were what they called the Western forces, and this was a meeting of the Texas and California. Come on, those two would never get together and do anything. Their belief systems are so far apart. That's why this movie was a little bit in the fantasy realm for me. Anyways.
Okay. Acting and characters, very well acted. A great example is Jesse.
Yeah, Jesse Plemons.
I mean, the fact that he had word of this role, someone dropped out. He took it on what, Tim? 2 days?
2 days.
Yeah. Incredible. Of course, everyone knows he's awesome.
He's an incredible actor.
Yeah, from Friday Night Lights a long time ago, one of our favorites. And of course, his wife.
Yeah.
Kirsten Dunst, one of my most favorites. It was very well acted, and the characters all the way around were perfect. So, okay, let's move on to direction.
Well, I can't say enough. I mean, this movie really, really brings out strong feelings in people, and it's very disturbing.
Yes, and I won't get on any kind of little soapbox, but let me just tell you, to the world right now, let's focus on love, acceptance, and let's all work on being a team.
I thought the score was very subtle. I think it really added to the ambiance of this movie.
It did. Now this is a score that this worked very well.
There's it goes back to the cinematography and the production value. There's so much of this. The visuals in this movie were so disturbing, like the downed helicopter in front of J.C. Penney's and things like that. Oh. It's just very, very sharp, stunning images in this movie.
Yeah.
What do you think? That's the cinematography. I put spooky and subtle.
Yeah, I thought that was perfect. The production design, wow. This is where the movie shined for me. It added to the horror as well. War is hell. The crew did a really good job of looking at the horror of war around the war, if you will, Ukraine and the Middle East, and brought that here to the U.S. And that is so true.
You know what? And this is something I didn't want to discuss with you before this, because I wanted to see what your reaction to be, because there was a lot of time. What I thought was really interesting in this movie, there was a lot of times where you looked at me during the movie and you said, who are those people? Are those the good guys or the bad guys? And what I thought was really interesting was the fact that they didn't tell us. And that's what makes this movie so spooky. In a war like this, you don't know who the good guys and the bad guys are. Well, we all look the same.
Yeah, well, I've been edgy since I saw it, so I'm still edgy now, and I'm anxious to wrap it up because it was a difficult.
I can tell.
It was difficult. Special effects, the Battle of Pennsylvania Avenue, Tim. Jaw-dropping. That
was jaw-dropping. I mean, that whole.
Tim, what did you think about the editing?
I thought it was spectacular.
Me too.
I mean, the one once again, I 4.5 stars. This movie, I might have given it 5 stars. The pace, it had some slow parts.
It did, but I think that we talked about this. Gave the audience a chance to catch their breath, because it's so it's about people, so it had to have these spots.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you 100% there. The dialogue, well, there's a lot of food for thought written into this movie, and we don't want to give spoilers either. So
it's just the story arc. You don't want to say that it was super satisfying, because the movie is devastating. And I know I've said that over and over again, but
I think this is one of these movies with all the garbage that's going on in American politics right now.
It's ridiculous.
It doesn't matter which team you're on, because it's team politics at this point.
Yeah.
I think you have to take a look at this movie, and you have to realize, is this team sport that we're playing here in politics in this country, is it worth something like this?
Yeah. I keep saying this and saying it. I want to get back to a world where character and integrity is important in our leaders, number one. And number two, this really is about acceptance. As many people that are as different as you, that you can accept, you're helping and loving the world. But if you're turning to hate and craziness like we're seeing, you're going to add to not just the problems today, but God knows what for tomorrow. So that's how we feel. I didn't really want to see it, the movie. I had to. I think that it's important to celebrate movie producers, directors, actors, and also the storytellers. And not all stories are easy to watch or hear, and that we have to keep going. So
well said, April.
Okay.
Well said.
Thank you. We appreciate all of you. We've heard from so many of you. It is a huge summer of movies. We're excited. And we just can't wait. We appreciate all your support, and shout out to Australia for all the incredible downloads. We don't know what it is about us, but we appreciate you so much.
And so that's Civil War. April gives that movie 4 stars, and I give it 4.5 stars. We appreciate you greatly. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you at the movies.
We'll see you at the movies.